Hello, conscious breathers, infinite beings alike, breath family. Now, as we populate, and as you I think I attracted some birds. It's on its way. But I want to talk about feeling versus seeing. And no matter what industry you're in terms of a career, or whatever your goals are in terms of accomplishing anything, I want to go over why feeling is super important versus seeing. And just knowing this simple truth can truly help you progress, help you just expand beyond your current perception. If you're maybe a person that was really focused on being seen, quote unquote. I'm literally in the middle of a humongous tree here, and the camera's about to fall. Alright, there we go. Welcome. Hey, what's going on? So, I want to share a quick story when I landed my first millionaire client, right? And one of the main consensus, my clients or people within Breath Family, they also teach me. I don't believe in hierarchies whatsoever. Thank you for the dojo, brother. Oh yeah, we're not even done yet. I'm even surprised I'm doing this live in between dojos, but here we are. I feel quite inspired to share the power of feeling versus seeing. When you pay more attention and focus on feeling versus the analytical side of things. And we see this a lot in marketers. Marketers themselves. When marketers come to me saying, oh, we can upscale this and do this and that. I'm like, okay, or you want to try out a session first to see, what you're working with? And most of the time, all the time, it's no. Okay, then how, in terms of this specific field, how are you going to upscale something that you have no feeling of or understanding of in the terms of keyword alchemy breathwork in that sense, right? And in the long term, you're gonna realize this sooner or later, especially if you're into marketing and stuff like that feeling is king, because you are empathizing with your audience. And many people can't do that. Everyone is so analytical, always blasting knowledge at you, but on the empathetic side, most of the time they always lack that. And it's sad, and it's a bittersweet thing, but when you realize it, you're like, whoa, how can I integrate this into other things? You can really push this into any career that you have right now, or the goals that you're pursuing, quote unquote, to pay more attention to the feeling aspect. Not even just you, but how are you feeling when you interact with, let's say, that team, someone on your team, quote unquote, within any atmosphere. Let's take a restaurant, for instance. Simple, a big restaurant. If I'm a server and, I'm part of the serving team or whatever, who do I work best with? Who, grind my gears, quote unquote? Then I should try to steer away, or just really focus on why is this person getting me to grind my gears, okay? Instead of avoiding it, because it's your job, it's your workplace, right? You can't just avoid it like that. In that sense, you're going to interact with the person one way or the other. So instead of avoiding it, why not bring a quality perception into the fold where both of you can benefit? Like just pointing out, hey, this right here needs fixing, so you don't have to work too hard, and it's just easier for the both of us. Something simple as that. See, now you're playing the feeling game versus the analytical game. You're like, oh, this person doesn't, now you're making a bunch of stories and a whole list of why you don't like working with this person, and you're focused too much on that versus the solutions and the feeling aspect of it. Because when you go down that rabbit hole, and I've personally seen it, I used to work in the restaurant business long ago, and when you, in any business, the main point is to feel at ease in your job, so it doesn't feel like a job. And not everyone wants to become an entrepreneur. Not everyone wants to fall into this line of work, and that's okay. But wherever you're at, you can make it a more stress-free environment. I've done it with a bunch of different companies. It's possible, and it's a lot easier when everyone is damn near happy, okay, and less stress. It's a lot easier for a company to thrive, not just function, but really, really thrive, because when most of them get into the parasympathetic side and perception, when they attain that in their workspace, and it's such a beautiful thing to watch, especially when I worked with Google in that office space, everyone finally understood the reason why you would bring someone like me into the fold, because apparently I was one of the first few within a team to come in and work with different office workers and things like that. But most of them, everyone in that space said, man, I love that I can come in here and there's a less stressed environment and everyone just gets their work done. And then we even have, and the beautiful part about it, especially in a dynamic space like Google, for instance, when you hit a certain goal or whatever, there is a lot of time to take off, and for the most part, most of them, instead of going outside the space, most of them really thrived in the space and really created a better atmosphere to more of like a chill area, lounge type place where, work is the second home. It doesn't feel like it's an alien place. And even the lighting, I had them fix the lighting in the sense of less fluorescent light. And that was the first thing. I was like, I don't care if you believe in energy or not. At least let me change the lighting. And we first started with the lighting. Just that simple change made a big difference. So another thing to talk about is, when you're going in the workplace, when you yourself is less stressed and at ease, don't you think it's going to have a better effect on the people that you work with? That's your own responsibility in itself. Let's not negate that part. But it's a beautiful thing when the team and your space comes together to really focus in that one unification of focus on pure healing and a less stressed environment. So, feeling is super important. And you're going to see a huge increase in the sense of mental health within the workplace being at an all-time high than it's ever been. I already believe it's already up there. But that's the world that the pandemic has incorporated. And we can't negate that it's some of our own doing as well, right? It's like who's doing the job firing here? It's not the government. It's not some part of it is the government. Let's not negate that. All right, it's some part of it is the government's fault. Let's not negate that. But as a business owner, there are ways to fight, or there's ways to submit. And for the most businesses that submitted towards what the government was doing instead of fighting, and knowing their rights, that happened in the sense of they had to let people go. They had to take out unnecessary loans and all this stuff when you really didn't need to if you knew about, oh my gosh, we just got gifted a whole bunch of peacock feathers. Oh, blessings. Whew. Wow. Cheers.
I found it all the way in the back. Yeah.
That's wild. Yeah. Here we go. But feeling, I don't care about being seen, I care about being felt. That should be your new mantra. That's a powerful mantra in itself. That mantra alone, when I work with, let's say, people in the music industry that has groupies and stuff like that, they're the toughest because, you're put into a world where you're always going to have to be social, well, depending on who you are. And just that same mantra really helped someone really see the bigger picture of things and help you get out a downward spiral. And this is why it's so effective in any industry you're in terms of being felt. And stop looking at people as customers this, customer that. When you focus on the bigger picture in the sense of, it's not just, let's say, again, let's go back to the whole restaurant. And there's only one place in the whole entire world I would chew again, right? And this is how much of an impact this place has had on me. There's this gourmet Japanese vegan restaurant out in California, and the sense that you get walking into that place, you can't refute the energy that you feel. Like, they're smiling while they're cooking. They're, and they also make raw dishes and stuff, and they're smiling while they're doing that. They have the biggest smiles. It doesn't really even feel fake. It's just something that they truly embody. These two couples that run this restaurant out in California, all the way down to the serving, and she wants to know your name. Like, it's one of those beautiful places that's very intentional with their foods and stuff. So they left such a huge impact on me in the sense of feeling, because they understand that happy energy is going inside their food that they create and they give to people. And she even writes like a personal note, like in real time. Like, you may look a certain way and she's like, hey, I like you're wearing with this and all that. Like, she's very particular this woman understands energy. It's so night and day, and it's like blatantly in your face when you go in the when you go in the restaurant. And there's this other place called Cafe Gratitude. Now, this place, when they give you the plate, it says, what are you grateful for? I don't know any other restaurant that does that at all. So this place boomed. It grew massively in California. It started in one place, and then it became a franchise because people were getting wind of it. And when you go there, you really feel a total different experience than going to a regular restaurant experience. This is I think truly helped me get into the world of food freedom in that sense, because I literally went to every vegan gourmet restaurant you could think of when I used to live in Cali a few years ago. So I tasted it all. Even the Japanese, I think the Japanese vegan style was literally on my, I don't want to say bucket list, but just on my list of things that I always wanted to try. So once you try the vegan Japanese style, in my opinion, you have tried it all. If you're deep within that vegan space, at that point, you technically tried it all. and that would be a great point to just get into the raw, or just more in the breath in general. Okay, I do this with my water. Program it exactly. Internal life, planta. Oh yeah, is I don't know planta. I've heard of planta. A lot of people in Coconut Grove love planta. Yeah, but does anybody want to go live and talk about feeling versus seeing, being seen? You know, when you look at your favorite singers, whatever they may be, blah blah blah. You know, why are they your favorite? Most of the time, it's based on how you feel when you listen to them, right? Most of the time, unless you're really 3D and you're just falling into different categories beyond the feeling, more dense than the feeling itself. And that's a whole different catalog. But most of the time, for the main consensus, it's mainly how you feel, and that's the beauty of life. When you focus more on feeling, you really get a feel, quote unquote, for the game that's being played in this continuous cycle of this human phenomena that we're all living over and over and over again. Oh, Rich is coming on. Hey Ron, you can jump on as well. I see you just joined. Rich, brother, hello there.
Brother, what's going up?
Oh, what's going up? Oh, you changed it. All right, all right. I see you. I see you. I
Man, I
feel
see
you.
you.
I feel you too.
I feel you, yes. Going back to the topic of conversation, listen,
Yeah.
nothing it's something that honestly I feel like now I'm becoming more it's actually internalized into me, right? I've been put in so many situations and I've had so many leaders and just people around me, they're just like, just feel into it. Feel into it. And it's just like, okay, I got it. And then a part of you obviously fakes it, right? A certain degree of it. But then when you really surrender to that feeling,
Mm.
it it's almost as if you just look at the world or life differently and you're able to actually breathe. I'm just speaking from my experience, right? And the secret is in the feeling, right? Earl Nightingale, right? The secret is truly in the feeling. And I'm sure you're well aware of this. The more you strip yourself of the vices in the world, we feel more. Although we're taught not to feel
Hmm.
to a certain degree in our upbringing.
Yeah, we're taught to be more analytical than the feeling side of things.
Right. So I want to ask you though, how what was the catalyst for you to really awaken to moving in more of a feeling type of a energy versus more analytical? Because it sounds like you have a very dynamic background.
Yeah. It was one of my mentors, Danny.
Yeah.
When I used to work as a delivery driver, I
Mm.
think this was about over 10 years ago, man. Wow. My car broke down, and they literally, the whole restaurant offered to just buy me another car.
Wow.
Literally. Like,
Wow.
and everyone, because it's like a family owned restaurant, everyone in the family is like, why are you helping this kid? What? Like, why are you helping this kid? Why?
Right.
What makes him so special? You know?
Truly. Yeah. That's
And
jealousy right there and envy. But go ahead.
yeah, yeah, and he has such a big heart, and
Right.
he definitely felt my integrity of what I bring, and
Yes.
the deep conversations we had in just over the time, and
Yeah.
that was a catalyst, honestly, from my point of view, for someone just having that much compassion to still offer me a job and just buy me a car
Mm.
like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that truly made me, be more a compassionate man, quote
Wow.
unquote, versus the upbringing that I had with always being rigorous, be tough, all
Listen.
this type of stuff.
Yeah.
the feeling aspect of it, because I was taught, growing up to just hide your emotions, things like that,
Right.
versus, um, just on a day-to-day basis with Danny at the time. That's his name, Danny.
Right.
And just seeing what this man was about and how he treated people and his interactions with people, and that's what really helped me just
Yeah.
open.
Yeah. That's powerful. So, are you still connected with him today?
Yeah, he actually owns a huge farm here. I think he's about to shut down all his restaurants in Jersey, but he owns a huge grapefruit farm here in
Wow.
Florida. So I'm gonna go out there and see him soon.
Yeah, man. I'm sure he would appreciate that, and just on the topic of that, I'm starting to realize that, you know, from my experience personally, I felt more dense when I was consuming, and I'm not just talking food. I meant like with anything, right? Consuming so much consumption that you get to a point where, all that trauma, you just hold it inside of your body because of the fact that, you don't want to feel, you want to almost mask the feelings like a Band-Aid solution. Real quick, and then I'll let you go. I just did like a 10-day cleanse, man. And throughout the cleanse, I was like, I'm actually going to be very disciplined in it and follow it to the T, right? And I'm not going to tell anybody about it until I'm done. So I did just that. I didn't follow it 100%, although I can tell you this on the sixth, seventh day, I started to feel more. It was like a gentle parasite cleanse. I started to feel more. And I started to feel like there were these like holes inside of my body, bro. It was so trippy. Like it was like it's like something empty, something missing. And when I stripped myself of these toxic foods, or these not even toxic foods, but just over consuming these things, I started to fill that hole or that void with a lot of love, with a lot of grace. I started mending to it, started talking to it, started really getting more aware and breathing into the feeling, using the breath as almost like a band-aid solution, but as a catalyst for upgrades and just a newer way of life. So, man, I could talk to you all day, but anyway, I wanted to share that piece because it truly is important to feel, especially all the men that are on here.
Hmm.
Um, truly, we are raised in a society where, like, Devon was saying earlier, we're taught not to feel, but to be transparent, no woman wants to be with any man that can't feel what they, you know what I'm saying? What they're going through, because women sometimes, oftentimes, won't communicate exactly what's on their heart. So it's important for us to
Hmm.
be grounded and to feel and step into our power and ask these questions. Even outside of relationships, just going about your day-to-day activities, you're just a better being. So this is a great topic, bro. Thank you so much.
Thank you, brother. I want to quickly add on to that.
Yeah.
I had a friend who's in the porn industry, not anymore, but
Okay.
literally just got out of it, and he wasn't really into this side of the world, so to speak. So even moving down here in Miami, he's always saying, "Oh, it's a party scene, all this, blah blah blah." And I'm like, "Well, you haven't seen the other side of Miami, the community side."
Yes.
And he finally, for his first time, finally came into the super sound bath, did the breath
Mm,
work, and
mm.
he said for the first time he had a smile on his face in a very very long time. And just recently, we're there walking down in Wynwood, chilling, and he said, I was just having basically he's recently divorced,
Mm.
and now he's talking to other women, but more of a quality
Yes.
style of women, so to speak. And he said, like, I really caught myself where they're talking about Reiki, where they're talking about breath work. I'm like, I never found myself being a well-rounded person until now, and really working on myself and seeing the value in that and bringing it
Mm.
into our conversations and interacting with people on a different level versus sexual,
Mhm.
being hyper over
Yes.
sexual and things like that.
Bro, oh my gosh. I mean, you hit the nail on the head on our generation,
Hmm.
really, because we use that as an avenue to feel, even though, to be transparent, it's just honestly trauma bonding, and then in addition, just repeating, unnecessary, unhealthy cycles, right? So I'm so happy for that gentleman to have to have been taken out of that world after gaining that experience, right? No judgment at all. You
No
gotta do what you
judgment.
gotta do,
Yeah,
right? But how he responded with the results he was getting is really what I'm proud of him of, because it just goes to show you that he's like, wow, I thought this was what a well-rounded man was, but in reality, these different modalities can actually help me become a more well-rounded individual, to be of more value to myself and others.
that's a beautiful. That's a beauty. That's a beauty of the connection versus being too much focused on being seeing versus being felt.
Yes, I'm gonna take that with me today, man, and pass it along.
All right, guys. Thank you, Rich, for hopping on here. You're always welcome onto the live, brother. Have a
Awesome.
wonderful, breathful day, guys. Peace.
Peace.